Perfect. Welcome to this new video. In this one, I will show you the parent PID spoofing, okay? The parent process ID spoofing technique, okay? This is a classic and an old technique, but it's useful for any malware developer, okay? So, for example, let's explain this. First of all, what is the parent process ID? So, if we open, I don't know, a notepad process, we can open it, and if we search for this process in the System Informer application, we can see the parent process. In this case, the parent process of this notepad.exe process was the explorer.exe, okay? So in this case, in this technique, we're changing this parent process with the one that we want to use just to try to hide the real parent process and confuse the defenses, okay? The security defense products, okay? So let's try to do it. Perfect. The code is pretty simple. It's just a main function where we ask to the user to receive the path to the executable that you want to run, and then the name of the process that you want to spoof, the name of the process that you want to be shown as the parent process of your executable that you want to run, okay? Perfect. When this is done, we just get the parent process ID using this typical get process ID by process name. It's a simple C++ function that returns to you the process ID of the process name. Okay, you pass the process name as a parameter, and you receive in the return the process ID of this name, just using a create tool help32 snapshot function that basically creates a snapshot of all the running processes and search and iterating and finds iterating all the list of the returned processes. Okay, so when we have the parent process ID, we can just jump to the next step. Perfect. So to create this new step, first of all, we open this parent process with the open process function, and we need to have process all access to this process. Okay. So when this is done, we just need to get the size of the attribute list. This attribute list, it's the one that we have created here, and this attribute list, it's necessary to the usage of the create process function. Okay, this create process function receives various parameters, and one of these are the attribute list. Another one is the startup info ex structure, the process information, and another ones. So in this case, we're just getting the size of the attribute list. We initialize the attribute list with the initialize process thread attribute list function, and then basically we update the attribute list with the parent process. So to do this, we call the update post thread attribute. Okay, to understand what's doing this function, we need to search for the official documentation of Microsoft. Okay, and it's this one from here. Basically, this function receives various parameters. Okay, the first parameter of all is the attribute list that you want to modify. In this case, it's the one that we have created before. Then the flags. In this case, the flags of this case are a 0. There is no needed flag in this case. And then one of the most important parameters of the function is the attribute. What parameter you need to change from this attribute list? In this case, we need to change the parent process attribute, okay? That basically, it's the one that shows you this parent process from here. And in this case, after after we say to this function that we want to modify the parent process attribute, we need to pass the value. In this case, the value is the handle to the parent process, the process that we have opened here. So we have this handle opened here with the open process function that just need the parent process ID, and then we use this value as the parent process. Okay. After this, the size in this case is the size of a handle, because we are passing a handle as the value. So we pass the size of handle, and then the next two parameters in this case are null. Okay. So when this update POC thread attribute function is executed, the attribute list it's updated with the new parent process that we want to create. So when this is done, we can just call the create process function, and this will create the parent process. Sorry, we will create the child process, the new process that we want to create, but we are passing the new attribute list that we have using. Sorry, we need to set the attribute list into the info LP attribute list attribute. This info is the startup info ex structure. Okay, if you want to search this, basically you need to check for the official documentation. Give me a second. This is in Spanish. Let's change because this is in English from United States. Perfect. Here we have the create process, and here we can see that this receives the startup info parameter. So this parameter, it's just receiving that it's this one from here. It's just receiving the list that we have updated with the new attribute that points to the right parent process, to the parent process that we want to set, to our code. Okay, perfect. So let's just try to execute this and see the results. Okay, perfect. So this is asking us for the executable that you want to run. In this case, we're going to run the Microsoft Paint, the typical Paint application in Windows, and then we need to provide the name of the process that you want to spoof. Okay, in this case, we will set the notepad.exe process, and if all works good, the process is created with this process ID. It's this paint from here, and if we check into the System Informer application for the MS Paint application, the Paint application, we will see that the parent process is the notepad. Okay, so basically the parent process ID, this one from here, that it's the same, that represents the notepad.exe process. Okay, perfect. So that's all for this technique. It's a simple, classic, and all technique, but it's useful for some evasion tricks or some, I'm sure, some type of testing malware that will be able to set a parent process ID different from the real one. Okay, so we can just confuse the security software. Perfect. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one.